This presentation is sponsored by National Parts Depot, restoring American history, and by the F.A.S.T Racing Series organization. Each Father's Day weekend, the lure of muscle cars, tire smoke, and a drag strip seems to win over the temptation to go fishing on this particular holiday. Here at the US 131 Motorsports Park drag strip in Martin, Michigan, trailers roll in loaded with some of the most beautiful classic muscle cars from the past. But this weekend isn't really a car show. This is pedals down, gear banging, engines screaming, side-by-side, heads-up drag racing. It's all about ETs, grudge racing, bragging rights, and yes, some trash talking. The Factory Appearing Stock Tire Racing Series is a unique two-day event all on its own, featuring two separate classes of cars: the Factory Appearing Stock Tire cars and the factory stock cars. Back in the day, a person would wander into a new car showroom, buy a high-performance muscle car, and the following weekend drive it to the local drag strip, pop off the hubcaps, and hit the track to see if the quarter-mile times matched what the factory claimed it would run. What makes the Factory Appearing Stock Tire class so unique is that even though the cars appear to be showroom stock, internal engine, transmission, and rear-end modifications are unrestricted. However, in the factory stock class, the engines need to be totally stock, with only very minor modifications allowed. Both classes, however, require that the cars run with the same size and type of tires that they rolled off the showroom floors with. This, of course, can result in some serious premature tire wear. Yet some very impressive ETs are being recorded when running on these tires. And depending on their modifications, some cars have even made it into the 9-second territory.
Hi, I'm Dave Dudak with the F.A.S.T Muscle Car Races. I'm one of the co-founders of the F.A.S.T organization. We started this about 14 years ago. We started in a class where the cars had to be pure stock. And anything that involves racing and egos, everyone started pushing the rules and pushing the rules and pushing the rules. There was a little block of us that were flat out we were cheating. The cars looked like every other car in the class, but they had internal modifications done, and we all got together and decided to form our own class where what we were doing was legal. On a factory stock car, it's basically what it sounds like. The car should be the way it left the factory. You could do little stuff, like you could put a 2.5-inch mandrel bent exhaust on them, upgrade the ignition system. But for the most part, they should be as they were delivered from the factory. In the F.A.S.T class, the cars look identical. The cars look, you got to run the correct intake carburetors, exhaust manifolds, you got to run everything the way it's supposed to be from the factory, but you're allowed to do internal modifications like stroker cranks, ported heads, roller cams. Just as long as it looks like the day rolled off the showroom floor, anything inside is legal. So that's basically the difference between the F.A.S.T class and a factory stock class. The F.A.S.T acronym, it's an acronym, and it stands for Factory Appearing Stock Tire. You got to run the tire that the car was equipped with from the factory. So if your car was equipped with the old Polyglass GT, you have to run an old Polyglass GT. You got to run on the stock tires. That's kind of why this class gets a lot of attention. Some of the ETs the cars run, they're unbelievable considering we're running on a factory tire that the car was delivered with 30, 40 years ago. For example, the Hemi Roadrunner behind me, we put a Ford 250 crank in there. We bored it 60 over. It's got 14-to-1 compression. The heads are fully CNC ported. It's got a roller cam. The exhaust manifolds are ported. I mean, you look at the engine, it looks stone stock. The last time we dynoed, it made 800 horsepower, 630 pounds of torque. It was designed to make less torque because we run on the stock tires. And it's not just the engine, the transmission, full rollerized, aluminum drums, anything you can do to make the car faster and maintain the stock appearance. We got a 430 gear out back. It's got a spool in it. Again, all stuff that you cannot see. This car has gone as fast as 998 at 139 plus mile an hour. 14 years ago when we started, there was one race. We had 4 cars. From there, it sprouted up. Right now, we have anywhere between 5 and 6 events a year. We started off with the Hemmings Musclepalooza events in New York, and then we come here to Michigan and Martin Race, which is our biggest car count, at this particular race. Then we go back to New York. The Chrysler guys get to hit the Mopar Nationals in the meanwhile. And then we race at the Fall Hemmings Palooza. And then we go to MRI in October, which is, the air starts getting good. That's where the cars start breaking the records. You got to be on the East Coast in the fall at an exceptional track. And then sometimes we come back here in the fall. It's not your typical racing organization where everyone's cutthroat. It's after we close down the pits at night, everyone barbecues together, throw back a couple beers together. Yeah, there's a little grudge racing, Mopar, Chevy, Ford, anything where Eagles are involved, and, we have a lot of fun with that. There's rivalries and, just like any other race, it's great.
My name's Terry Pennington. I'm one of the co-founders of F.A.S.T Racing Series, which we started in 2001. Factory stock class is basically open to any muscle car. It doesn't matter whether you run 18 seconds or you run mid 11 seconds or low 11s. The class is basically the correct heads, intake, carburetor, the cam, everything's got to be correct in the factory stock class. Our tires, a lot of people notice them and see, that they might think they're a slick tire, they're a retread tire, this type of tire, that type of tire. Basically, they're just a tire that's wore down. We have found out over the years of testing that a wore down tire will actually grip as good as a slick. Our 60 foots will be as good as a slick with the worn out, and they're polyglass tires that you could get from like Coker or Kelsey Hayes. They're basically they are that same tire. There's no secret compounds, no secret dipping of the tires, none of that baloney. It does not work. I've tried everything and it does not work. My wife is in the factory stock class, which, as we said, is, basically it's got to be correct. She does real well in it. She's probably the winningest driver in the factory stock class. Mine's a 69 Corvette. I race in the F.A.S.T class. It's 540 cubic inches. It's got roller rockers, it's fully rollerized. The fastest I've ever been in the car was at Virginia a few years ago. I was able to go at 10:30 at 135. The tracks are usually prepped pretty good. We go to some tracks that aren't prepped as well, and, the cars don't run as well, but it's all in your suspension and your setup, which, you could have a 13-second car that will not hook on a track, but yeah, you could have a 10-second car that would hook on the same track because the guy has done his homework and his due diligence to make that car adapt to any track that he is on. Our event next year will be June 19th and 20th of 2015. If you're in the neighborhood, we'd love for you guys to stop by.
Heads Up Drag Racing will get the oil in your veins flowing quickly, and the first order of business is to heat up and soften the tires. As the tree lights up, you stage your car, maybe even take a quick glance at your opponent. As the light goes green, you and your opponent simultaneously hammer the throttle. Precise RPM gear shifting is what gets you quickly down this quarter-mile of pavement, hoping to be ahead of the car next to you as you fly through the traps at speeds that'll light up any cop's radar gun.
Hi, I'm Barry DeWitt from Painesville, Ohio, here racing my 69 Dart at 131 in Michigan at the F.A.S.T class races. There's 3 of us buddies that come here every year. We bring a different car every year. And if you have a car like this, you need to come out. We've learned so much. We take it back home to our local track, and we just picked up so much on our ET, and people wonder where we learn it all, and it's from coming up here hanging out with these guys. We need more people to come to these events. I mean, this is a stick shift car. There's 16 passes on it today, and that's what they're made to do. They're made to be raced, as much shown, and once you do it, you're hooked. And we've been coming here for probably 10 years now, and we're already set scheduled for the next year. It's very addicting.
My name's Ted Harbit, and I have a 1963 Studebaker Superlark here. It's supercharged, one of the rare ones that they come out with in 1963. When we get in the staging lanes and lining up to run the cars, this is the oldest one there by far, and all the others, most of the cars, Dodges, Chevys, and Plymouths, and Fords, and so on. So this is pretty unique being there. It's 289 cubic inch and it's rated 289 horsepower. Got a T10 4-speed Borg Warner and a 455 Dana rear end. I will be 80 my next birthday. And I'm still having a ball with it, just like I did 40 years ago. I have to come to these races, and this F.A.S.T race put on by Terry Pennington and Dave Dudek. They're the two main guys, and we really appreciate them taking the time because they don't get much out of it, just enjoyment. The fast cars, of course, they can do anything to them they want to, as long as they look stock, why, and they run like crazy. But they invite the factory stock cars too, and we really appreciate them letting us come to run too. And I don't know how many more years I can do it, but as long as I can do it, I'm going to keep coming because we really enjoy it. It's so well organized, and we really appreciate these guys putting it on because it gives us something to do that we wouldn't have otherwise.
Be sure to bring your muscle car out next year to the US 131 Motorsports Park on June 19th and 20th, 2015 for the National Parts Depot F.A.S.T and Factory Stock Spring event. It'll be the time of your life. And as a reminder, you might want to bring some extra tires. This presentation was sponsored by National Parts Depot, restoring American history, and by the F.A.S.T Racing Series organization.